So step number 4 then comes down to selecting your desired plant-based protein to include in your meal plan. So we talked about this before, like that I gave you that list of whole foods, and I can't even speak properly. It's now down to you to select which ones of those foods that you'll enjoy eating the most. And, yes, of course, the amount of protein and that kind of thing is important, right? So you need to consider that X amount of this type of food contains this much protein, carbohydrate, and fat. But the reality is that you need to pick the foods that you enjoy the most. That's what matters the most, because if you don't pick foods that you enjoy, you're not going to stick to the meal plan, period. Any great meal plan only works when it contains food that you actually enjoy. So that list actually that we talked about before in a previous video, I'm going to flash it up on your screen right now so that you can see that list again. So you have lentils, chickpeas, and so forth, all the way down the list, tofu, tempeh, soy milk, right? All of those foods, you can pick what you want out of that list. It's completely up to you. You can even go and hunt around on the internet for recipes, vegan recipes, and reverse engineer those recipes and look at how much protein, carbohydrate, and fat they contain, right? Recipes that you have had in the past that you can continue to eat inside your meal plan to meet your goals. And I want you to be very clear on something, and that, whenever you get sick of something on your meal plan, you can easily swap it out, for the macros that roughly replace what you're pulling out of your meal plan. So, this is not like a fixed meal plan. It's not like a mobile phone contract where, everything in your meal plan you must eat, you're stuck with it for life. You can't change it. You can't swap foods out. It's complete BS. This is the beauty of flexible dieting, is that whenever you get sick of something on your meal plan, you can just switch it out. If you get sick of peanut butter, if you get sick of, having 1 or 2 or 3 tablespoons of peanut butter in your meal plan, you can switch it out for something else. If you get sick of quinoa, if you don't want 1 cup of quinoa, you can have 1 cup of something else, or 2 cups of whatever is the equivalent of the macros of the quinoa that you're removing. And the great thing is you have a spreadsheet, which we'll get to in the next video. You'll have that spreadsheet on your computer or whatever, and then what you'll do is you'll just delete whatever it is you get sick of eating, and then you can just install whatever it is that you think you'll enjoy eating for the next couple of weeks. And then if you get sick of that, if you get sick of the recipe, you can always change it. This is the great thing about flexible dieting. So that's the list that you'll be most likely selecting from. But as I said, you can use recipes of your choice. Just make sure that you're getting enough protein, right? That's important. So once you get enough protein, then you can sort of focus on carbohydrate and fat. But remember, those whole food forms of protein that we talked about before also contain certain amounts of carbohydrate and fat as well. So it's going to take a little bit more time and effort. I get it. It is challenging. I've done this before. I know how hard it is. I know how intimidating this is. It is challenging. But if you want this to work, if you want the vegan lifestyle to work for you and you want to build a great physique as a vegan, you got to do a little bit of work, unfortunately, up front. But once you do this initial legwork, it gets a lot easier. You won't even have to think about this after a while. It just becomes a lifestyle that, it's like any skill. Once you learn all of these pieces and everything like that, I'm giving you the fundamentals right now that you'll have for the rest of your life. It's taken me years. It's taken me a long time to figure this out. If you can learn from me in 1 or 2 or 3 hours, what's taken me a long time to figure out, then you're saving a lot of time here. So it is challenging, it is tough, but it's absolutely worth it. So then we've got, step number 4. So your protein requirements, so you're going to use that list I gave you before, and you're going to use MyNetDiary and MyFitnessPal. Remember, we talked about that before. And to look at serving sizes for the various different foods that you enjoy eating the most. And then you'll try and get the rest of your protein from powdered forms, plant-based powdered forms of protein. Remember, pea, rice, and so forth. And then remember, you're shooting for protein the amount of protein somewhere between 0.7 grams per pound of body weight per day, up to about 1 gram per pound of body weight per day. I know it's a lot if you're lifting weights on a regular basis. If you're weight training on a regular basis in the gym, like 3 to 5 times a week, that's essential. You need to get that much protein. If you're not, then it's going to be like 46 grams of protein per day for women, thereabouts, 50, 60 grams of protein per day for men, thereabouts, if you're not lifting weights, if you're not training. If you just want to meet the minimum daily recommended intake for protein every day, then that's what it will be. It's very low. It's like 40, think 40, 50, 60 grams for men and women every day if you're not lifting weights, if you're not training. If you're training, the game changes, my vegan friends. You must increase your protein intake, and it will be in the vicinity of 0.7 grams per pound of body weight per day, up to 1 gram per pound of body weight per day, even on rest days. The next one on my list is you'll be relying on plant-based powders, as it will not be practical for most vegans to sit around eating bucket loads of lentils, chickpeas, tablespoons of butter, etc. So they're my notes here. Look, I've already covered this before. So get most of your protein from whole food sources, and then the rest of it you're going to get from powdered forms. That's the most practical way of doing it. And that's it for step number 4. So we're going to go into step number 5 now, which is the spreadsheet. So I'll see you in step number 5.